So the world's oldest dietary intervention, one that's really been used for millennia, in all generations, in all civilizations, in all parts of the world, endorsed by really all major religions, which is free, which is available, also has the power to reverse type 2 diabetes. But not only do we not talk about it, generally, as a physician, we're told to actively discourage this, which is very interesting because I'm going to tell you a story. This is my patient, and he was a 69-year-old man, and I treated him for 15 years almost. Type 2 diabetes, he was on metformin, he was on 160 units of insulin. And so as I learned about intermittent fasting, I said to him one day, I said, maybe you should try this. For 3 days of the week, just eat 1 meal a day instead of 3, all right? So he was very diligent, he did it, and this is what happened. So his insulin dose went from 160 units a day in about a month to 0. And his body weight came down, and his waist circumference came down, and his A1C actually dropped from 7.8 to 7.2. So after about another month, actually he came off all his medications. His A1C was down to 5.9. So by definition, he actually didn't have diabetes anymore. And the problem was that for 15 years, I failed him. I didn't know enough to actually tell him what the proper treatment was. He didn't actually need to have the type 2 diabetes for 15 years. And that's my shame, that's my problem. And that's what we're here to change, to talk about this. And intermittent fasting is not very difficult. They understood a long time ago. Basically, it's energy, right? And if you have, say, a coal-burning power plant, for example, you have energy in the form of coal. We use energy in the form of food. And when you take in food, you can either burn it or you can store it. And there are ways that the body stores energy, or calories, which is sugar, like glycogen. You get glycogen synthesis. And you can store it as body fat, which is de novo lipogenesis, but dietary fat goes directly in. So the whole idea is that if your insulin levels are high, we know from sort of 50, 60 years of research that it inhibits lipolysis. You can't take the stored energy if your insulin levels are high. So that fellow who's taking 160 units of insulin a day, which I gave him, he can't take body fat out and turn it into energy. Because remember, insulin is nothing more or less than, a nutrient sensor. It tells your body, hey, food is available. So you can burn some of it, but you need to store it. But don't take what's stored out. We're trying to put it into storage, so don't take it out of storage. That's all it's telling you. And you can't take it out. So if you have too much glucose, if you have too much body fat, as long as your insulin levels are high, you can't take it out. It's only when insulin drops, such as with fasting, such as with low carbohydrate diets, for example, that your body says, okay, well, no food is coming in. So I am going to need to take what I have stored, in this warehouse and use it. That's all. So in other words, you need to give your body a chance to drop that insulin level so that you can burn the glucose and burn the body fat. And that's really what you're supposed to do. That's why you have the English word break fast. Because every day, you're supposed to finish eating and fast. So there's a period of time that you're supposed to eat, insulin goes up, you store energy, or calories. There's a period of time you're supposed to not eat, which is fast, insulin goes down, you now use that energy. You don't keep it building up and up and up.